Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar as we finalize our fiscal year 2021 CSBG Annual Reporting Series. My name is Monique Alcantara. I am a Management and Program Analyst here within the Office of Community Services, Division of Community Assistance. As part of my role here in OCS, I help manage the performance management system, which includes the CSBG Annual Report. I'm joined today by Nikki Frazier and Joey Lim. Nikki is a record specialist and also provides technical assistance for Grant Solutions and the online data collection system, or as we'll reference it here, OLDC. Joey is new to the team. She is a data analyst who will also be helping with technical assistance in the upcoming months. Before we get started, I want to provide a few housekeeping rules. We have muted everyone upon entry and ask that everyone remains muted throughout the webinar. Please feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation in the Q&A pod. We'll try to answer all questions at the end of the presentation. For any questions that we are unable to answer, we'll provide additional guidance in future webinars. The chat function is also available, but we will primarily focus on answering questions submitted through the Q&A pod. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted to the OCS CSBG webinars page. As I noted earlier, this is the last webinar in our fiscal year 2021 CSBG Annual Reporting webinar series. We hope that this series has been very informative and helpful to you guys as you start submitting your CSBG Annual Report. Today, we'll review the reporting requirements one more time. We'll discuss the timelines for the annual report, and then we'll jump into our OLDC refresher, including reviewing OLDC accounts, assessing OLDC, and submitting each module. We'll also review the contacts and resources at the end of this, and then have some time for Q&A. We'll also do a live demo of some of the portions of this webinar, so hopefully technology is on our side today. One last thing I'll note is that this webinar does have a lot of content, so we apologize in advance if we go a little bit over, but we will try our hardest to stay on time. And also, because of the content of this webinar, we will only be focusing on the OLDC refresher and the final submission portions. We will not have additional questions as it relates to how to answer questions within Module 1, Module 3, Modules 2, and 4. So we thank you guys for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed today's webinar. So let's review the reporting requirements. If you have been part of our previous webinar series, you have seen this slide before. States are expected to submit the annual report for CSBG, CARES, and disaster together. We want to ensure that how we collect information across these reports is as streamlined and coordinated as possible. And we understand that there are unique challenges of administering these funds, which has been particularly pronounced during the pandemic, and for some states and eligible entities, the additional challenge of responding during disasters. While we do believe that states should already be familiar with the integrated strategy OCS is using to collect information, and both supplemental grants awarded as noted in CSBG Dear Colleague Letter 2021-04. We really want to focus this year on that we are thinking of these as one report. So though you are reporting in separate forms, the CARES and Disaster Supplemental Annual Reports are extensions of your regular CSBG Annual Report. So you'll hear me refer to these as a complete submission. We are unable to review one without the other and vice versa. So that's why we are having one due date for all the reports this year, and that is March 31st, 2022. If you're having to, if you don't think you're going to be able to meet that due date, while we're not providing a blanket extension, we are here to provide you support and technical assistance as we try to meet this due date. So this also brings me to the annual report review timeline. We want you to be aware of what we are setting up as our timeline. The smart forms have been released between January 21st and February 22nd. So there are a few states who still have not received their smart forms. Please expect those no later than next Tuesday, February 22nd. OLDC is available for all modules. They have been available since January 31st. The annual reports, as I noted in the previous slide, is due March 31st. And then we anticipate starting our review for all 4 modules on April 4th, 2022. And then you, as a state, should anticipate initial feedback around July 3rd, 2022. One thing that I do want to reiterate is that reviewing as a whole allows us to see trends across the networks as we complete the review. And part of our review for 2020 also informed the TNTA that we provided throughout this webinar series. So for 2021, for 2020, we were really hoping to have 100% submission rate prior to starting the review, but we do want to recognize those who submit on time. Therefore, this year we will implement reviewing 25% as a time as much as feasible. This will allow us to also release the smart forms for next year at an earlier date. Now I'll pass it to my colleague, Joey, to review OLDC accounts and start our OLDC refresher.
Great, thank you so much, Monique. So I'm gonna first start by quickly reviewing information on setting up your OLDC accounts. Next slide, please. So just as a reminder, OLDC is a platform that allows secure submission of your annual reports. There are different roles that can be assigned to a user that corresponds with specific OLDC functions, which I will be reviewing shortly. Please note also that annual reports do not need to be certified by the authorized official. Next slide, please. When setting up your OLDC accounts, these are a handful of things to be aware of. Your OLDC account links to your login.gov account, mandates that there is one account for each individual user, add CSBG to each of those accounts, and should be assigned to state personnel only. We recommend that each state has at least one user per role from the list below, which includes data entry, grant administrator, and authorized official. Next slide, please. So I'll now be quickly reviewing the different permissions that are assigned to each of these roles to keep in mind, starting with data entry. If you are in a data entry role, you will be able to initialize your reports from Module 1, and this includes the capability to edit reports, enter and revise data, and review reports. Data entry roles, however, do not have the ability to certify reports, so they cannot submit or unsubmit reports. Next slide, please. Unlike accounts assigned with the data entry role, grant administrators have access to all of the different functions of OLDC. So in addition to the permissions listed for the data entry role, grant administrators are able to certify, submit, and unsubmit reports. Next slide, please. And finally, authorized officials have the ability to review reports in read-only mode and to certify reports. Unlike data entry and grant administrator roles, however, authorized officials cannot initialize reports, edit and revise data, submit reports, or unsubmit reports. Next slide, please. We now have some final notes for existing and new users. If you are an existing user, we ask that you please check to make sure that your OLDC account is linked to your login.gov account. Instructions on how to link your accounts were provided at the kickoff webinar of this series, so you'll be able to refer to the PowerPoint slides that have been posted to the FY 2022 CSBG webinars page for more information. As an existing user, you will also want to verify that you have the correct account type and access. And if you have any issues related to your account, you can contact Nikki and Jacinta, whose email and phone numbers have also been included in this presentation. Next slide, please. If you are a new user, these are the steps that you can follow to create a new account. It starts with submitting an OLDC access form linked here to Nikki and Jacinta. You'll then receive username and password separately by email from notifications at GrantSolutions.gov. If you do not receive these emails, you'll want to contact GrantSolutions.gov using this number or email. And once you do log in, you'll be prompted to link your OLDC account to your login.gov account. Next slide, please. So once you have your account squared away, these are the steps you will take to log in and access OLDC. Next slide, please. So to log in, you can use a link to GrantSolutions as shown here. You can use any of the browsers listed on the slide with Chrome as the preferred browser. You'll also want to bookmark this site for ease of access in the future. Next slide, please. This is the GrantSolutions homepage. The login button is in the upper right-hand corner. Once you click on it, you'll be redirected to the login page. Next slide, please. This is the login page. On this page, you will enter your username and password and hit submit. Please note that all CSBG grant recipients are now required to log in using login.gov. So in the upcoming weeks, you'll see some updates to this login screen to help emphasize use of login.gov for your login. Next slide, please. If you have any login issues, including if you've forgotten your password, you can send Nikki or Jacinta an email. Their contact information is linked here and also is at the end of this presentation. We ask that you do copy CSBG states at acf.hhs.gov on all emails. Next slide, please. Once you've logged into OLDC, you'll be directed to the Grant Solutions portal. This is where you will be able to access OLDC, which is the very top left option of the toolbar shown here. Next slide, please. When you select OLDC, you will then be directed to the OLDC homepage. By default, the regular version will be displayed, and we recommend using the enhanced version. You can switch to the enhanced version by selecting the option at the very top right corner of your screen. I'm now going to pass it to Nikki to walk through the different features of the OLDC homepage. Nikki?
Thank you, Joy. For the live demo, we just need a moment to bring up the screen for OLDC. And today we will be using Utah.
So Nikki, we're not at the live demo portion yet. We're just talking through these OLDC home tabs.
Oh, great, great. So for the home tabs, there are several different displays. So the My Recent Activity displays all forms recently accessed by the user. The activity report allows you to search for initialized, submitted, and approved forms. And these actions include using the drop-down to view, allows you to view a form in read-only mode. The edit option allows you to access the report section screen in edit mode. And then you can look at the report status and show and see that you can navigate to the report form status page. Next slide.
Great, thank you so much, Nikki, and we'll hear more from her during the live demo. But now I want to get into accessing the modules. So these next slides will show you the steps to take, and this is going to be the same across all 4 modules. So to the left-hand side of the OLDC homepage, there is an option that you'll select at the top called Report Form Entry. Once you've selected Report Form Entry, you'll be directed to a page where you're prompted to select the following. Next slide, please. Includes program name, and the options are CSBG, CSBG Cares, and CSBG Disaster. Your grantee name, which will be your state, and the report name. And the report name just refers to the CSBG module. Next slide, please. So with that, we are going to move into a demonstration of Module 1. Next slide, please. As a reminder, these are the key functions of Module 1. They include initializing reports, editing reports, which includes direct data entry of information. Reports also contain pre-populated, auto-populated, and auto-calculated information. There are also cell-level attachments and skip logic built into this module. Module 1 will also allow you to clear errors, validate the information of your report, and to submit. So with that, I will hand it off to Nikki, who is going to go through each of these different functions.
Now we're ready for the live demo. Thank you. So from the form selection, from the home screen, you hit Report Entry, and then from the form selection screen, you will enter Community Services Block Grant, your grantee name, and then the report. And as we showed in a previous slide, you have several options, and we're going to do Module 1. So from this screen, you'll see the plus sign that allows you to create or initialize a new report. Your report will pre-populate from either year 2 of your fiscal year 2020 state plan or year 1 of your fiscal year 2021 state plan. will be able to initialize from. You could do Utah and 2020, it'll work under that also. Thank you. So this screen shows the report sections screen. And from that, you can see that all the items are in initialized status. This status will change once you perform actions within your report. Now we're on the report section screen. You have several options. You can clear section data. That will clear all the data that is in that section. And then we also, from the drop down, you can edit section that allows you to perform actions and enter information into the section. And you can also print the section that will allow you to, that will open up in a new browser and allow you to print a print-friendly version. You can print individually or the entire module. So from the drop down, we want to select edit section and select go. So we are in section B, and you will see from this that when you go scroll down, you see a section in white. The white field displays, these are sections that you can actually edit the fields. You can enter any data in this field applicable to the question. As you scroll up, you see a number of radio buttons. These allow for a singular response. And to change your answer, you just click on a different option under radio buttons. We are going to another section to display another option to use within the form. So in this section, we allow for checkboxes. The checkboxes allow you to select more than one option, as many as is applicable. And for this, you see if you check the other button, another white field will open to allow you to enter text. You can deselect any of the checkboxes as needed. The other interesting thing with the annual report is that some sections are pre-populated. The pre-populations show as a blue background, and this is opposite the fields that are editable that show a white background. So in this instance, we see that the state CSBG plan target is 100. And for fiscal year, we changed that to 2020. And this is applicable to all data entry options. So here we entered number of entities assessed as 10 and show that the number of standards met is 9. So then we go to auto populations. And we know that when we enter the data, if we click validate, then that'll allow the calculations to take place in the form. And then you can see below that that information transferred over to a number of entities assessed, and you can see where the 10s appear there. And as we enter other data, we can see every time we hit validate, the form recalculates. And as we check other or unchecked, we can see that the field in there is editable, and we can perform all these functions on this display page.
So one thing to note with this checking of the other box and unchecking is that skip logic is built into the system. So in some cases, how you respond to one question will result in you having to answer another question. So in case of checking the other box here, a new field comes up, which means that you have to provide information about what other means. And now we will show you how to do cell level attachments.
So for item G1A, there is the paperclip. The paperclip denotes a response that can be used to attach. So if you click on the paperclip, a new screen will pop up, allowing you to choose a file. Your Explorer button screen comes up, and you will choose a file and click open. That will show there. And once you click attach file, you'll receive a pop-up. You'll click OK. It's just screening whether or not that file has the proper setup and doesn't have any viruses. You will see that now the chosen file shows as pending. Sometimes it takes a little while for that attachment to show as saved. So once you exit out of that, you should be able to see that it is saved. One thing to note on attachments is that your attachments from last year do not transfer over to the following year. So any attachments that you have, make sure that it is applicable to the year that you are submitting. The other note with attachments, real quick, is to make sure that you include the question number for that cell level attachment. So as we can see, we're back to the report section screen, and we can see that the majority of the sections are saved and validated. However, there is one section, section B, that is saved with errors, and another section, section E, that is validated with warnings. So you must clear all errors before you're able to submit a report. So we'll have to go into section B to see what errors are there and resolve them. So as you can see, the error warning shows in red on the screen, and it's pointing you to item B1 for state plan goals. So you can use the go to error button to go directly to that error on the page, or you can click the long description that also shows the information for that particular item. It gives a definition of what that error is. So for B1, we will enter in the white field the text in order to be able to clear this error. And click validate, and let's see if that clears. So now the red highlight, the red text is no longer there, meaning that that error has been effectively resolved. And now your section status for section B is now saved and validated. So we'll go back to the report section screen. And we'll bring, and you'll see that that is saved and validated for section B. But we also have an item that is validated with warnings. Now, it is okay to submit with warnings. This is the system that you know that you should review your information just to ensure that it is correct. So for section E, when we hit edit section, we see that the warning is for E4 state administrative funds. And it shows that we have a 0 obligation. So we can go to that error. And if we are sure that that amount is 0, we can leave as is. We go back to the report sections. And again, we can see that since we validated and cleared the error, now a new option appears on the screen to submit with warnings. Just a note that if you don't have any warnings and all your sections are saved validated, then it will just say submit. So now that we hit submit with warnings, you'll see a pop-up that says, this will officially submit your report. Do you wish to continue? And yes, we do. So we hit OK. Your form will go to the report form status screen, and then you will see that your report is submitted with warnings. It gives this date that you submitted, and you also have the option to unsubmit the report. I'll turn it back over to Joy to open up for module 3.
Great, thank you so much, Nikki. We appreciate the thorough walkthrough. I'm sure it's very helpful for folks to have this refresher. So we're now going to be moving into a live demo of module 3. Next slide, please. As we get set up, we want to remind you again of the key functions for this module. Here, you'll be able to initialize reports, include form level attachments, validate the information provided, and submit the report as well. We'll move into the live demo, and just want to remind you again that if you have questions that pop up for you, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A.
So Nikki will walk us through the live demo of module 3.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you. Now we will open up module 3. So we'll still from the form selection screen, enter the program name, grantee name, and select module 3 under the report name. And we will still have the plus buttons here. So we will, if we hit the create or plus sign, that will open up module 3 and it will show as initialized, as we said in previous slides. So for module 3, there are, it's less steps for module 3. So we initialize. Module 3 allows for form level attachments, and that's opposite the other forms where there are cell level attachments for module 1. You also are able to validate, and there is no, along with the rest of the annual reports, there's no option to certify. And once your form for module 3 is done and validated, then you are allowed to submit.
So with the form level attachments, you will, instead of attaching from a paperclip, you will attach from the top of the report form status screen by clicking view add attachments. And then you'll see that the form level attachments tab is clicked. Just as with the cell level attachments, you'll choose your file, click open, It will go through the same process of uploading. You'll get an OK button, and then you'll show that it's pending until the virus scan is complete. One quick thing to note with that is with the form level attachments and both the cell level attachments, you're only able to attach one document at a time. For our larger states, we know that that's somewhat burdensome. Unfortunately, Grant Solutions has not updated that yet. So for attachments, you do have to attach one form at a time. Once you have attached all your forms, you're able to close out. They'll all slowly change to save. It pretty much goes quickly. So by the time you're done attaching all the files, you'll be able to hit close and then validate. There will be no errors because there's no data entry for module 3. So as soon as you hit validate, you are then able to hit submit. And then you'll get the confirmation. And much like module 1, you'll be taken to the report form status. You'll confirm again, and you'll see that your report status is submitted, and you'll see all your attachments lined up here.
Thank you. And if you can use the file name for module 3 as fiscal year state abbreviation M3 and the name of your eligible entity, you are able to use and your DUNS number and the number of attachments that you have. So if you have 4 forms under one eligible entity, it would be 1 of 4, 2 of 4, etc. And please use abbreviations and acronyms if possible.
Great, thank you so much, Nikki and Monique. So we're now moving into part 3 of the live demo, and this will be of modules 2 and 4. Next slide, please. So as we get set up for the live demo, I'm just gonna provide a reminder of the module 4 key functions. Key functions include the ability to export XMLs, upload XMLs, save XMLs, which is automated, validate state level forms, and also submission of state level forms. So with that, I will hand it over to Monique to provide us with a demo of these key functions.
Thank you, Joey. I appreciate that. So going back to OLDC Home, with modules 2 and 4, it is a different start than you have with modules 1 and 3. And that is because first you have to upload the exported XMLs. So we are not going to show how to export the XMLs. That was part of yesterday's webinar, and those slides are already posted, and the webinar recording will be posted soon. So we are starting from the point, assuming that you have exported all your smart forms into XMLs. So the first step when you log into OLDC is to upload those XMLs, and to do so, you will do the report data upload. Sorry about that. Each module does have to be uploaded separately. So you will pick N for each report. So first, we're just going to show a community services block grant, but you should have the option to also upload your CARES and your disaster supplemental modules as necessary. Then you'll select your state. I will use Utah, as we've been using them for this demo so far. And then you have to report each module separately. So I'll start with module 2. I'll actually only demo module 2 because the steps are the same, but you would have to pick module 2 or module 4. Once you've selected the module that you're working with, you'll then select the correct reporting period. We are in fiscal year 2021, so I will choose October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. Once you have selected that, you will see this drop-off box. So one thing that is different with the report data upload than the attachments is that you have the option to drag multiple files over, or you can click here to upload one document at a time. Clicking here does work the same way as uploading the attachment, so I won't show that process, but I will show you how to drag files over. You'll want to go to the folder. Sorry. You'll want to open up your folder where you have all of your annual reports. So I will go to my annual report 2020 folder. I will go to Utah. I will open up my Utah files and you'll see that I have all my XMLs here. I can then select all of them and drag them over, and I will receive this uploading in progress. And once they're all completed uploading, and I did do that really quick, but you just select the files and drag them into this box. I will receive successfully uploaded 8 files, and then I'll click OK. Now, this does not mean that the process is done yet. It just means that the files have uploaded. There is one more step, and it's a system-generated step in which the system is now reading the files and making sure that they are ready to be uploaded. So you'll want to click My Upload Status, and then you'll see that all of them are currently pending because the system is reading through the files. All of these are actually going to fail because I dragged over Module 4 files instead of Module 2, and the system is checking now for Module 2. I'm going to show forward so you can see what happens once a file is successfully uploaded. You'll want it to turn into the saved status. That means that the system has accepted the file. It is the right XML for the right year with the right eligible entity number and the right grantee number. And then I'll also very quickly show you a failed one. If you see that it has failed, please stop, contact OCS right away. You can send us that failing file, and you'll see that this is the file name, so you can see exactly which one failed versus which one saved, and you can send those to us as well as a smart form if you are working with smart forms, and we will take a quick review to see why it is failing and provide you feedback as quickly as possible. So now once they're all in saved status, let me go back to this one. You see nice saved, all little green circles. You need to submit the state level form. We saw that this year this was something that states were not doing. So we just want to reiterate that it is important to submit the state level form once you have uploaded all the XMLs. So I will go to, I'm actually going to go to Hawaii because I know that all of their files saved. And I'll scroll down to Module 2, and I'll go to, we're actually going to look at the previous reporting period. And you see you have all the eligible entities listed. You see that they're all showing as submitted. This was the file that failed a few times, so we had to submit a revision until it submitted properly or saved properly. And then we went into revision 1. Let me go to Utah to see. Oops. So you see with Utah, we did get some submissions and some revisions as well. And the state level form, which is always the first row, does show as saved validated. Now, if you're reviewing your files and one of these do not show as submitted, it's showing as blank. That means that the file did not upload correctly, the XML file. So you want to show that this is showing as submitted, not blank. That's just a second way to check that all your files have actually been submitted. So once it's been submitted, you'll see it's saved validated. We do not have to initialize. Uploading the XMLs does initialize the module for you. So you do not have to do the step of hitting plus sign, but instead you will hit the edit sign, which looks like a paper and pencil. You're not going to actually edit anything. You are able to view and attach the form level attachments so that you can actually attach your comments, if any, that you are submitting with your state plan. Submitting with your module. And if you want to review the aggregated data, you can again go to edit section and it'll show all the updated aggregated data for all the files that you uploaded into OLDC for your entities. You can also view the data at the entity level by, and let me just go back to form selection, by clicking this eye icon. And then you would go to any of the sections, view section, and you can see the data at the eligible entity level. Going back to the state level report, which is again is this first row, it's still showing as state validated. So we want to make sure that we submit it. And submitting it does signify to OCS that you are complete, that you have completed your report. You can validate, but there is no requirement to because they're all automatically saved, validated once you upload the XMLs. So you'll hit OK. You'll get this little confirmation that all reports were received along with attachments. And then again, you're back at the report form status where you can see that you're submitted, the data was submitted, any comments that you had attached with it, and you can also see the status of everything. So we will take a quick pause right there as we go back to the presentation. So this slide may be familiar. We did display it two webinars ago. And it's just again about reiterating completing your full modules 2 and 4 submissions. That means you have to upload the XMLs for all reporting eligible entities. Again, upload blank XMLs if they were de-designated after October 1st, 2020, because we are doing comparison of the eligible entities that are listed in your CSBG state plan for the year. And then if it's CARES and disaster and that entity did not expend any funds or decline funds, then you should upload a blank XML. This is confirming to OCS that this entity is not reporting that year. And so we are accepting your blank XMLs. Now, if we notice that all the XMLs are blank, that will trigger us to think that maybe there is maybe the XMLs did not upload correctly. So we'll reach out to you before we start the review. But if we only see it for 1 or 2 entities, then we are not going to follow up. We're going to assume that you intended to upload a blank XML. And then just again, submit the state level form that notifies OCS that your submission is complete, that you're not waiting for any additional revisions or anything like that from your eligible entity. And again, how to report if no CARES or disaster funds were expended for states. Describe those challenges within Module 1, Section B. And for disaster supplemental, all states should have obligated Stage 1 and Stage 2 funds by September 30th. For eligible entities, if they decline CARES or return disaster, they should note that information or the state can note it on their behalf within Module 2, 8.6, and then you can upload a blank Module 4 XML. And one last time we're really, really trying to reiterate this point of the complete submission. So you have the eligible entity submit the data to you and comments, and then the state reviews and exports to XMLs. The state uploads those XMLs to the online data collection system or OLDC. The XML save, which is an OLDC auto function, and then the states submit the state level form. We cannot reiterate that enough. If you have questions or if you're not sure of whether you completed the steps, please feel free to reach out to myself, Nikki, your program specialist, or Joey, and we're all here to help you with completing your submission. Some quick notes about the reporting periods. Each module must be submitted separately. The annual report does not require certifications. Module 1 is based on the federal fiscal year of October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. So you should be submitting Module 1 based on the work completed during fiscal year 2021 with fiscal year 2021 funds. And then for Modules 2 through 4, it is based on the state reporting period. So you should report based on the reporting period established within your state, and then submit based on work and funds spent during that time as well. And with that, I will pass it over to Joey to review our contacts before we go into the Q&A.
Great, thank you, Monique. So we just want to remind you of key contacts that you can reach out to with any questions that you have, and these slides will also be available after the webinar for you to reference. Next slide, please. So these are the names, emails, and phone numbers of our OCS program specialists who have each been assigned to particular regions. So we have Lindsay, Jamia, Andrew, Catherine, and Judith. Next slide, please. These are our OCS financial specialists, Norris Phillips III and Angela Kelly. Next slide, please. If you have technical assistance needs related to OLDC, you can contact Monique and Nikki. Their information is up here on the screen. Next slide, please. And for questions about your smart forms, you can contact our colleagues at NASCAS, Muska, and Page. If sending an email to any of these contacts that we mentioned, we ask that you please copy CSBG states at acf.hhs.gov. Next slide, please. As you go through your annual report submission, please know that there are resources available to support you. Next slide. This includes CSBG grantee toolkits linked here, and this includes relevant content related to CSBG CARES Act and Disaster Relief Supplemental Funds. Next slide, please. We have also recorded the webinars of this annual reporting series. These recordings and the associated PowerPoint presentations will be made available on our OCS webinars page, linked here. Next slide, please. So with that, we'll now move into the Q&A. If you have any questions that come up, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A pod, and we will be sure to address them. We do have one already, so Monique and Nikki, if either of you would like to answer. Can we only add attachments once the state level form is completed?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. For module 1, you can attach at any time. You should really only be using the cell level attachments. There's specific questions that we allow attachments for within module 1. For the modules 2 and 4, you can attach attachments at any time. You just want to make sure that you attach those before you actually submit the state level form.
Great, thank you, Monique.
I do see that we've been asked to put the link to the webinars in the chat, so I'll ask one of my OCS colleagues to do that. I'm not seeing any additional questions, so we'll give it a few more moments.
Maybe one question that I can pose to you, Nikki. Are there any additional tips that you would want folks to be aware of as they submit their modules that we haven't already covered in this presentation?
One thing I would just suggest, if you are having any issues or you're not sure whether or not you're submitting something right, we are here to help. So you can reach out to your program specialist, your financial specialist, myself, Nikki. Will also be updating the slides to include Joey and Jacinta's contact information before we get these posted online. So we're here to help. NASCAS is also here to help with any issues that you guys have with your smart form. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us about anything, and we will provide all the technical assistance that we can to help you in submitting your annual report this year and for every year.
Great, thank you, Monique. I don't think that there are, never mind, right, as I said that there was a question that popped up. Okay. Module 1, federal fiscal year, October 1, 2021 to September 30, 2022, not activities completed during October 1, 2020 to September 30, 2021. And I think they're clarifying the timeline.
It is for federal fiscal year 2021. So I apologize if the dates are wrong. We'll make sure that we go check that. So it should be October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. Thank you for clarifying that.
Thanks, Monique.
Okay.
Great. I don't think that there.
Go ahead,
I don't think that there are any other questions. So Monique, I'll pass it to you for webinar announcements and to close us out.
Thank you, Joey. So really quick, everything that we demoed today is also shown as screenshots on this PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint should be available tomorrow for anyone that walks through that. We also have an OLDC technical assistance guide that does walk you through each of these steps. And we are also working on a demo series that we will be announcing shortly that will also walk you through each step of submitting your annual report, from the data entry to uploading XMLs to the submission. So we're really looking forward to that, and we hope that you guys enjoy that. And we're just trying to provide different ways for you guys to provide technical assistance to everyone as you guys submit your annual report. So as you may be aware, we do have a webinar next week for February 23rd at 3 o'clock to 4:15, which will be about reading and responding to the annual report review memo. And then on March 8th, this is a new announcement. We do have a CSBG and Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act and how to partner with the WIOA Act. That will be our colleague from WIOA will join us and to provide our CSBG grant recipients information on the Workforce and Opportunity Act. So we really hope that you guys go ahead and mark your calendars now. That link will be available shortly if it's not already available on our website. And we just want to thank you guys again for this series. We welcome any feedback or comments or questions that you have about this series, as it will inform future series that we put together for you guys. As you know, the CSBG state plan is right around the corner, so we'll be ramping up to do this again. And thank you, and I hope everyone has a good afternoon and a great weekend. So I know that people can still hear us and there's still a few on, but that's okay. Damien, one quick thing that I forgot to mention
Let me
is
stop recording.